Let's bring out our very, very cool guest. Today's show is going to be awesome, but we should get to know the people who are going to be leading us. So Brenda, will you introduce yourself, please?
Certainly. My name's Brenda Herschberger. I live in Hillsborough, Tennessee with my husband Virgil and my daughter Michelle. I'm retired, but I am very active in NAMI. I am a support group facilitator. I teach family-to-family classes, and as of the last 3 months, I've been teaching friends and family for NAMI. It's a passion for me.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your volunteerism and for being here. And Kyle, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kyle Sebastian, and I live in Hillsborough Village, not to be confused with Hillsborough, Tennessee, right here in Nashville and Middle Tennessee. I live with my wife, Rebecca, and my cat, Winston, who I have shut out of my home office. So unfortunately, you all won't see him today, but maybe some other time you'll see a gray blur across your screen if you see me on video another time. But I am the Community Engagement Manager here at the NAMI Tennessee State Office. And, usually I'm behind the scenes on these things. I'm feeding Gabe wonderful guests to be on this show. And I'm also working on lots of different programs. In a moment, we'll be spotlighting some really exciting events for later this fall that I'll leave for Gabe to share. Oh, there we go. There it is right on the screen. But yeah, I'm in charge of helping out with a lot of those things and really excited to be here.
Of course, we do have to plug the NAMI Virtual Tennessee Conference. Thank you so much, Kyle. September 23rd and 24th. You can learn more at namitn.org. And of course, you already would know about it if you were on the NAMI Tennessee email list, which you can also learn about at namitn.org. All right, enough about that. Today, we're going to be talking about the Family and Friends program. So obviously, the first question has to be, what is the Family and Friends program? And Brenda, I understand that you are the resident expert.
Well, I don't know about expert, but I think I taught the first one. Basically what it is, NAMI does a program called Family to Family for friends and family members of those with a mental health condition. And what Friends and Family is our Family and Friends, it's a 90-minute synopsis of that 8-week class. It goes quickly. We cover all of the subjects that are included in the 8-week class, but it's just a 90-minute synopsis. So people get an idea of what a lot of the people that have taken the Family and Friends have also signed up for a family to family class. It just helps them cope better. It teaches them lots of ways to deal with their loved one with a mental health condition.
Now, I know that the 8-week class is that's a heavy lift, right? I mean,
yes.
Isn't it 2 hours once a week for 8 weeks?
2.5.
2.5, and that's just the class time.
That's just the class time. What we've been doing is, because it's summer and people are busy, we've been doing Saturday classes. Two classes per day from 9 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon, and that's a big chunk of people's time. The Family and Friends, kind of gives them the same information, but it's quick. They're not allowed to ask questions. They're muted. They can't ask questions. Let me rephrase that. My sister, Pam Henson, teaches the class with me, and she takes questions via chat. So
very, very cool. So right now everything is virtual. So this next event that's coming up on August 24th from 6:30 to 8 Central, that of course the email is right down there to contact Kyle. It's online, correct? It's a virtual class.
Yes.
Now, before COVID, was it an in-person class or was it always virtual?
This has just started in the last 3 months. NAMI did not have this program. They had the Family to Family, And it's been virtual for probably the last year and a half.
Now, this question is for either Kyle or Brenda or both of you. What necessitated this? Was it just because 2.5 hours for 8 weeks is just too much for some people? Was it some people learn better in a condensed fashion? Why did we take something big and make it little teeny tiny?
Yeah, I can definitely take that, Gabe. And I think it is just that. Some folks are not able to commit to a 6-week class or an 8-week class. So Family and Friends was really developed to be kind of that intro to NAMI and to the NAMI world, for people who are really struggling with how to care for their loved ones. And that's really interesting language. Loved ones. What is a loved one of someone with a mental health condition? I really think that depends on person to person. Really, Family and Friends is meant to be for anyone who is wanting to support people. So you could be daily involved with someone's care at home, or you could be a best friend of 10 to 30 some odd years who only sees that person once every month, and you want to be able to support their journey of recovery when you have that monthly phone call. So yeah, Family and Friends, I think, really allows there to be a finely tuned entry point into support and education. Because if you look across the state, there are a lot of folks with mental health conditions. I'm actually not originally from Tennessee, but my foray into Tennessee is with my wife's family, who is from Oak Ridge. And one of the stats that I was looking at was that there's 930,000 Tennesseans with a mental health condition. And for those of you unfamiliar with Oak Ridge, you're familiar with Knoxville, and 930,000 is 5 times the population of Knoxville. So that's a lot of people across the state that experience a mental health condition. And if you then take a wider view, like, family, people around those, that then makes, 930,000, that could be 2 million people across the state of Tennessee that would be really helped by this class, by this presentation. And so I think, yeah, that really is, giving a opportunity for a lot of people to learn some really important stuff, because caring for someone with a mental health condition, it can be very difficult. And so with Brenda and Pam and so many others, we really want to offer that help.
Now, Brenda, you're sort of on the front lines of this because you're one of the instructors. What are you teaching in that 90 minutes? And kind of specifically, right? Like, when I walk out of that class 90 minutes later, what would I understand that I didn't when I walked in?
Probably the most important thing that we teach is communication, how to use I statements, not use you when you're talking to someone with a mental health condition, how to take what they're saying, it's called reflective responses, how to take what they're saying, especially someone in a psychotic condition or someone in a bad place. You're able to communicate with them about their feelings, what their feelings. Most times someone, when they're kind of going off on you, they're frightened, they're scared, and they're reacting, and it teaches you how to recognize that. We teach about mental health conditions, all the different types. We teach what NAMI is. We teach how to recognize a relapse in your loved one. We talk about how to join NAMI. It's really packed in 90 minutes. We cover a lot.
I imagine. Now, one of the things that people are probably going to wonder is, okay, let's say that I'm having a problem. I'm fighting with my family member, or I'm fighting with the person living with mental illness. There's conflict in my life. Will this fix the conflict?
It won't fix the conflict, but it will fix how you react to the conflict. A lot of times when there is a conflict, we make it worse by the way we react to the situation, and we teach you how to react in a crisis, and what to say.
Now, Kyle, as the coordinator for this program, obviously you're not on the front lines, you're not teaching the class, but it's up to you to put butts in the seats, for lack of a better word. When people call you up, what are some questions that they're asking you on the phone when they say, hey, what is this family and friends thing all about? How do you convince them that this is worth their 90 minutes?
Well, Gabe, fortunately, I think actually the better question that folks have been asking is, when's the next class, and not necessarily why would I need this to attend this, because they already have answered that question for themselves because of all that's gone on in certainly in the past year and a half with the pandemic, with rising anxiety and rates of depression in their loved ones. And just 6 months ago, there was a survey done, and I think in part with NAMI, and they reported that 43% of all adults in Tennessee reported symptoms of anxiety or depression. So the need of, why this class would be, important, this presentation would be important for folks to attend. I think they're actually coming to me having answered those questions for themselves already, and they're just really wanting to be a part of it as soon as possible. In fact, sometimes we even get folks from out of state who are interested in attending the class, and we talk about what's available with their NAMI, and if it makes sense, if that person was going to drive down from out of state to the in-person class, and they happen to show up in the Zoom room, we welcome them with open arms to get the really important information. Yeah.
I tell people, Gabe, that the most important thing they can do for their loved one is to become educated about mental illness and about their loved one's mental health condition specifically. And that's the best thing you can do for your loved one. In my personal situation, I took a family-to-family class, and the communication things that I was taught in that class was a game changer in my relationship with my daughter. And that's what made me so passionate to teach, because I want other people to be able to make a difference. And again, it's how you react, not how they react. It's how you react to them.
I know that so often it's really easy to blame the person that you're mad at, and I chose those words very carefully. I didn't say blame the person with mental illness, or blame the person who is struggling, or no. It's just easy to blame the person that you're mad at. And let's face it, mental illness, it can make you mad. I mean, it's designed to disrupt. That's frankly its sole function. Do people find that the cynic in me, if you guys can go on a journey with me, the cynic in me is like, really? So I've got all of this conflict, all of this struggle, and serious and persistent mental illness going on in my household, and I take a 90-minute online class and you're telling me that life would get better? That doesn't make any sense. The cynic in me thinks, yeah, you're selling me something. So we should point out, this is absolutely free. That's the first thing I want to say. So we're not selling you anything. So obviously we believe in it. But what would you say to the person that's like, look, 90 minutes can't do anything?
It's not going to change the situation in your home. Like I said before, it's going to change how you react to that situation. We teach, when you raise your voice to them, it's threatening to them, and it makes the situation worse. We teach people to speak to them in a calm. You may be screaming inside. You may want to choke them. You may want to scream back, but how you react will determine the outcome of that situation. And if you can talk to them in a calm voice when you're screaming inside, and um, reflect back to them what you're hearing from them in their emotions, it makes a big difference. I mean, it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah, and Gabe, one of the things that I would say, there's a lot of really important messages in the family and friends presentation, but two that I want to call out right now have to do with one, there is hope, and two, you're not alone in caring for your loved one, and your loved one is not alone either in seeking recovery and treatment for their mental health condition, and so. There are a lot of different presentations out there that will, tell you about mental health conditions. There are ones that are, done by, excellent mental health professionals who can give you every single clinical statement and fancy vocabulary. But what's really cool about Family and Friends is that it is taught exclusively by folks who have lived experience of caring for someone with a mental health condition. That is one of the primary and fundamental requirements to teach this class for the public. And I love that in a lot of ways, it actually kind of mimics another one of our NAMI programs, IOOV, or In Our Own Voice, and it incorporates elements of storytelling into the presentation so that you're not just being fed a bunch of potentially dry information about this is what this condition is, these are the elements of post-traumatic stress disorder, and this is what you can tell. But next to that information, you're actually getting a story, an anecdote about what that looks like in the lives of the presenter, and the presenters have been trained to share their story. Again, we're only talking 90 minutes. So how do you fit like sharing an entire story into a 90-minute presentation with all this other content? So really, I think it's an amazing, combination of those two elements of like really important educational information and also getting that storytelling. And one thing I always tell folks when it comes to storytelling, like why is that important? What's the importance of sharing stories? And one example I always like to think of is the ASCPA, the animal shelter folks. That's probably not what they want to be called, but when they are offering opportunities for you to adopt a cat or a dog, they're not giving dry information of like we have 500 dogs or we have 37 cats that need to be adopted. Instead, they're flashing one photo of a particular cat or a particular dog in front of the screen that says Harvey needs to be adopted today, right? And in the same way, storytelling really allows us to, have that empathy for there's no single story when it comes to mental illness and to mental health. Everyone's story is different. Yet when Brenda shares her story of taking care of her family member, so many of the folks in the audience are like, wow, I'm experiencing the exact same thing. Wow, can I connect with you afterwards to talk more about that? Wow, what else does NAMI offer? The family to family, the support groups, so that we can continue this conversation. And I really do think that Family and Friends is kind of that starting point that catalyzes, that really sparks the flame of learning about all of this.
Not only do I share my story, but I also incorporate it when we talk about PTSD. My daughter had a situation happen in her life, and I share that. I share when we talk about relapse, to look for things. And I talk about what happens to my daughter when she relapses. And so I try to incorporate personal things in every aspect of this so they know I'm a real person, that I live this and how it's affected me. And I think it comes across more sincere and more real to them, that it's not just a program, that it's not just somebody spouting stuff to them.
One of the things that you both mentioned was training, that you've been trained, Brenda, and that NAMI Tennessee offers training. Can you talk about what that training looks like? How were you trained, Brenda?
It was an online training. Actually, my husband and I were on vacation, and I did all of my training in one evening. It was like a 3-hour training. You have to write your story on there, and you've got to make it fit like in 2 minutes or something, and you have to read it out loud. And there are different sections of it, and it just tells you, that you need to, when you do the presentation, you need to do it in a personal way and include anecdotes and stories from your own life. And it's an online thing.
And it's offered by it's a national program, right?
It's NAMI National. Yes. It was I think it was a 3-hour thing. I did it all in one evening because I wanted to do this. I felt this was needed, and I dealt with my daughter for 13 years before I found NAMI, and I've never ever forgotten how hopeless and helpless I felt dealing with her by myself. And that's why I'm so passionate to teach and to do presentations, because I don't want anyone else feeling that. I've never forgotten how that feels.
Now, Kyle, you are in the position coordinating this program where you not only have to put butts in the seat, but you have to find Brendas. How do you find teachers for this program? Because they've got to be trained, they've got to be passionate, they've got to be interesting, and of course, they've got to be willing to work for free.
Yes, well, that's a really excellent question, Gabe. And what I would say is, the training process really is that simple. It's going online. We're in this virtual world because of all of the current events. And if you're able to take, that 3 hours to learn how to share your story, to look over the program of training, those are the kind of folks that we want to be part of this. Now, one thing that I will say in addition to that is the folks that are teaching the family and friends presentation also have the ability to teach a couple of other classes at NAMI because we want folks to be able to have that warm handoff to other educational programs that NAMI does. Because we're not saying that with this 90 minutes we're going to solve all the issues, you're going to have a perfect relationship with your loved one, you're not going to feel scared ever again. This is in a lot of ways for folks who are kind of coming into this story of caring for their loved one for the first time, or they've been doing it for a long time and didn't know about all of the support that NAMI has. So what we want is for there to be a Brenda that is teaching this class and saying, oh, and I know exactly where you should go next. I know exactly which classes would be perfect for you to follow up on this. And whether it is, doing it on a Saturday for a couple hours or splitting the time on evenings after everyone gets off work and trying to make that manageable, those classes are so important and so crucial to the support of many people here in this state. And we just get amazing feedback when people go through those classes.
Now, this next question is for either one of you, but do you find that first timers sign up for this 90-minute class and then do sign up for the 8-week family to family class? Or is it the other way around, that the folks in the 8-week family to family class need the refresher? What's the, there's a word that I'm looking for.
Well, the order or whatever.
Yeah, what's the path?
The path. This last one, the last family and friends that I did, we had 4 people sign up for our family to family class after. Most people come to the family and friends first and then take a class, and that's basically what this is meant to do. It's an introduction to family, to them to see. And I always tell them that they've made the first step in helping their loved one, and being able for them to help themselves is taking that class. And then the next step is to take a family to family class, or it's kind of hard in that short of time to connect with everybody, but my sister tries to get information from everybody, and I try to send them information about support groups in their area.
And does this work well in conjunction with support groups? Because I know this is a class, it's not a support group. Actually, let me back that one up. First, what is the difference between a class and a support group? If somebody's thinking to themselves, okay, I need support, this isn't a support group, right? This is not where you come to get support.
No.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. A support group is where you get to talk, and everything's confidential, and the fact that you're there. In Coffee County, where I am, we still do face-to-face. We have a big church with a big fellowship hall that we can use, so we can socially distance. And people tell their stories. They share what's going on with them. And in a support group, I think more so because you feel so alone, like you're the only person dealing with the things that you're dealing with. And in support group, you find out, man, I've gone home from a support group, if my daughter didn't go with me, and hugged her and thanked her, because my life's not so bad compared to a lot of the stories that I've heard. And when you come back from a support group, or when you attend a support group, it's like we're like family. You just feel like you're able to, and we allow people, if you don't feel like sharing, you can pass. But in the presentation, you're not sharing, you're listening and you're learning. In a support group, you're sharing what's going on in your life, and if you wish, people can offer you suggestions.
Yeah, no, just to add a little bit to that, I think we do have a unique opportunity with this virtual world to really make these opportunities super, accessible to anyone joining from everywhere. Anyone joining from anywhere, with an internet connection, and so we don't have to. I don't have to go through the work of securing a venue, of getting people to drive to that venue, of getting the people who are attending, that class to figure out where they're going to park and how far is it away from their home. Are we going to do food? Now, all of those things are things we want to do once again when the time is right. But with this unique opportunity, it really can be a statewide experience of anyone from the state of Tennessee, the 9.5 hours of road from east to west, can come in to this presentation and learn some really valuable information. And I think when we're talking about flows and paths and directions, or whatever word we were using, we really want it to be right from family and friends. You can go and take an 8-week class and learn so much more about how to support your loved one. And then when it comes to a support group, then you're able to hear the other stories, to share your story, to have that space to listen, to be quiet, to reflect. And all of those, the support as well as the education piece, are really so important for the journey of, recovery for your loved one, but also for you to learn, how do you live a balanced life in the midst of caring for a loved one? How do you, what are the challenges? What are you going to do to take care of yourself? Or, self-care, right, is really big in the mental health world. And, lots of times I like to say also community care, because supporting yourself, taking care of yourself often looks like surrounding yourself with people who can support you. So I love community care as well. And support groups are an amazing way to do that.
One of the neatest things I think about the family and friends is what Kyle said. I'm in South Central Tennessee. We've had people from Knoxville, from Oak Ridge, from Chattanooga, from over around Memphis, and we can reach so many more people virtually that and people in areas, because there are a lot of remote areas where there's not a NAMI. They can't go to a support group, or they can't go to a class in person because there just isn't anything offered. So we can reach so many more people this way.
So we've already talked about that it's absolutely free, correct? It's just
Yes.
and I'm going to flash it on the screen one more time, but it's free. Email Kyle and he'll give you the information, and you'll meet Brenda and you'll learn a lot in 90 minutes, and it won't cost you a nickel. And it's legitimately free, right? It's paid for by NAMI. I mean, that's why we exist.
They actually get a virtual book, don't they, Kyle? They send them an ebook that they can print out if they want to.
Exactly. Yeah. So with the virtual presentations, we can also send the virtual material. And if looking on the screen, you don't have like a blue lens filter for your glasses, or you're just tired of looking at glowing blue rectangles, we can definitely set up ways for you to get a physical version of the participant ebook as well. But yeah, that's a great way to accompany the PowerPoint that we use, as well as the wonderful experience and information and stories that our presenters are sharing during the 90 minutes.
What I like about the fact that they have a book is it is fast. I mean, we cover a lot of material in 90 minutes, and they've got an ebook, or they can get a physical book, and they can go back and go, now, what was it she said about this? And they can look it up.
Now, I think we've covered what it is, what it costs. We've flashed on the screen when the next time it is. All that's really missing is you. You just need to sign up. It's 90 minutes. I promise you have spent 90 minutes seeing a really, really bad movie, and you probably bought popcorn and you paid for it. And this is the opposite of that. But take a chance, sincerely, as I think both Kyle and Brenda have been super, super transparent about. It's not going to solve all of your problems, but it's certainly step one. It's going to give you more tools in your toolbox. It's going to allow you to move forward. And of course, NAMI Tennessee has more than one class because, well, you need more than one resource. I know we're nearing the end of our time. I believe we've covered everything, but Kyle, Brenda, is there anything else that you want people to know? Is there any questions that we missed? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I would just say, as you were flashing the class on screen, some of you out there are probably like, I'm a busy person. August 24th, 6:30 to 8. I can't do that. I'm already busy. I already have something booked in my calendar. And that's okay, because we are going to try to do these on a monthly basis. And we've come up with a plan to keep doing the virtual thing, monthly. So if you can't join us this month in August, we want you to join us in September. Or if you can't do that, we want you to join us in October. And we're going to keep keep these presentations going, because what I have seen is that it's meeting a need, and it's also a need that is far greater than we are sharing or talking about, of people who are feeling like they don't have that support and they don't have that knowledge, and they're trying to figure out what to do to love someone better, to be able to do it in really practical ways. So we want you to join us, whether it's this month or next month or the month after that. We're going to keep doing this because we know that's a really important presentation to give.
And what I see, Gabe, is people are hungry for information. People are hungry. When they take this class, it feeds a need that they didn't even know they had. And I just think it's really, like I said, the most important thing you can do for your loved ones in dealing with your loved one, and how to handle it, is take a class, learn. As a caregiver, burnout is high. I use the analogy, your loved one is a glass and you are a pitcher and you're using their pitcher and keeping their glass full. When your pitcher is empty, you can't keep their glass full. So if you're not doing self-care and doing things for you, you can't help them. And that's another one of the most important things I think we teach. So,
Brenda, Kyle, thank you so very much for being here. The next Family and Friends is August 24th. As Kyle said, they happen a lot. So even if you're not available on August 24th, please, please, please contact Kyle at the email below. He will put you on a list and let you know when the next one is. Of course, you can also find out when they are by joining NAMI Tennessee's email list. All of this information is contained over at namitn.org. Final plug, of course, for the virtual conference coming on September 23rd and 24th. You can also learn more at namitn.org. Have a lot of very cool things planned, including the CIT program, which is Crisis Intervention Training, Crisis Intervention Team, law enforcement training. Very, very important, very, very powerful. And all kinds of other stuff are in store. So we will end by putting this on the screen, just in case anybody missed Kyle's email. But that's it. That's a wrap, guys. Wave goodbye, and we will see you next Monday here on...
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
So much.
Thank you so much.
We will see you next Monday here on NAMI Tennessee at Home Live.